What in the name of... Well, if it isn't yourself, Nora Mumford, me darling.
Come down out of that, Bridget, quickly.
Oh, I can't come down. It's my washing day.
I don't care if it's your birthday. This is orders, national importance. We're all called to the village hall at once. It's something tremendous. It's secret.
Secret?
Morning, ma'am.
Is everyone here?
No, you expecting everyone?
The committee's been called for 12 o'clock, urgent.
Good morning, Mrs. Mumford. Perhaps you can tell us what's happening.
Don't ask me. I don't know what it's all about. Or whatever it is, let's get the place straight. It looks like a battlefield.
Oh, here's Mrs. Ellis.
Oh.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
What's all the excitement about? One of the school children came running to my house with hardly a breath left in his body.
Oh, I told them to hurry, but I didn't mean them to overdo it. Lady Mott sent up to the school and asked me to send some messengers out.
Oh, then Lady Mott must know what it's all about.
Good morning, my lady.
Sam, could you leave us to ourselves and see that we're not disturbed?
Okay, lady.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Are we all here?
Yes, I think so.
Now, I want you all to meet Miss Allen from London headquarters.
How do you do?
Mrs. Ellis is our vice president. I can never understand why she isn't actually president. She does all the...
I'm so glad to meet you, Mrs. Ellis. I'm very pleased to meet you all. We've heard a great deal about your work. Well, as I've only got half an hour...
Yes, Mrs. Allen has to catch the 12:45 back in town, and she really has a very important announcement to make to us. Would you step up on the platform, Miss Allen?
Well, if you think so.
Perhaps, ladies, you could move a little closer. This is highly confidential. In a sense, it's the state's secret.
Madam President, fellow members, I have some news for you which I think will make you all very proud. At this time, tomorrow, you'll receive a visit from one of the most dynamic personalities in public life today. She is also one of the most charming people I've ever met, and I know you're all going to like her tremendously. Her name is Eleanor Roosevelt.
Roosevelt?
Yes, Mrs. Roosevelt. You'll have read all about her in your daily papers. I expect you've read her own column. Well, she's like that. A natural human person, and she's come over here to see things for herself. She wants to learn what British women are doing in wartime, in the towns, in the factories, in the services, and in the villages. And Denley has been chosen as the representative village. I'm not going to make any suggestions about what you should show her, but I do know that she wants to see things as they are. She's not coming as the First Lady of America, but as one of yourselves. A woman with a husband and a family and a home of her own. Just give her an idea of your war effort and of life in a wartime village. I like to think that tomorrow she'll be seeing not just a village, but all the villages of England in one.
Thank you, Miss Allen. It'll be a great day for Denley. We are very proud indeed to have been chosen.
Ladies, I do want to impress on you the absolute necessity of keeping this secret for security reasons.
We'll do our best, Miss Allen, but You know what a village is like.
Yes, I do. But I know that I can rely on you to do your utmost.
Thank you, we will. I'm going to have to rush for my train.
Well, goodbye, ladies. And good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
I'll be back as soon as I've seen Miss Allen to the station.
Yes.
I knew it! I couldn't be more excited than was
My Fred could see us now.
And what would he see? A lot of idle, gossiping women. Where do we begin?
Well, the first thing is to do something about this hall.
If only we had more time.
Well, we've got exactly 23 and a half hours. It's going to be hard work.
It'll be worth it with our names in all the papers.
Now remember, we must keep it to ourselves.
Well, of course, it's secret, confidential.
Sealed orders. Isn't it lovely to know things before other people? I just can't wait to
There
tell
you are, you see, bursting with it.
Now, come along, let's get going. Clear the place up. Home for a quick lunch and be back here at 2 o'clock sharp.
I wonder why Denley was chosen.
You wonder? Because we're a great success, that's why. We're a community working together with no orders from anybody but ourselves. We're a working village that's made itself, as Miss Allen said, a powerful production unit. We're the beginning of something new, make no mistake.
Bravo, Mrs. Mumford.
Look at our record, our production figures. 7,000 pounds of jam. Pure jam made in this hall, not factory rubbish. Fur coats for the Russians out of the skins of rabbits we breed. Fur gloves for our convoy men. Lord knows how much wool spun from the waste we collect from the fences where the sheep scratch themselves. And where does that go? To keep our boys and the bombers warm on the long journeys. The vegetables cut fresh every morning for the Canadian camp. Quilts for the wounded. Why, there's no end to it. There's no need to wonder why Denley was chosen.
I merely made a remark.
Well, don't make such damn silly remarks. Where's your imagination? Doesn't it mean something to you that some of the defenders of Stalingrad kept themselves warm in coats we made with our own hands in this very hall?
Well, how do we know that extra warmth didn't help somebody at some vital moment?
Yes, how do we know that in some tiny way it didn't help the course of history?
Fancy that now.
Oh, I think that's going a bit far.
Not for me, it isn't. Well, let it rip.
And I seem to have brought a lot on my head by a perfectly innocent remark.
It's natural for us all to be a little excited, Miss Tyndall. After all, it is a great day for Denley, and Denley deserves it.
It's no use bullying me, old boy. We shan't get our lunch till the missus gets back.
John, darling, I'm sorry I'm so late. There are tremendous doings up at the hall. You must be starving. I'll get lunch right away.
What is all this mumbo-jumbo up at the hall?
Sorry, darling, state secret.
State secret? No wonder the cunt is going to the dogs with a pack of women running everything.
You're jealous, you silly.
Where's Margaret?
Still at the farm, poor child. She said she'd probably be up half the night. One of the cows is calving.
Disgusting. I'll send the girl down a mine and have done with it.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. It's fine work she's doing. You know, darling, if only you had something to occupy yourself with, you'd be much happier.
Don't I know it? Every half-wit in the country stamping about giving orders. I'm not even fit for the home guard.
I know, darling, but there must be something.
I see old Carruthers is dead. Damn fine soldier. I knew him well.
Did you, dear?
Well, enough intimately. He was on our left flank at Alice, you know. Sir Charles Carruthers. Damn fine soldier.
John, again. How could you when things are so difficult?
Why, what on earth's the matter?
This bill from the wine store.
My dear Liz, be reasonable.
Well, you know as well as I do how hard up we are, and you ask me to be reasonable.
Well, if a man can't have a whiskey and soda, why, in the old days, we...
For heaven's sake, come down to earth, John. The old days are finished, can't you understand? They're dead and done with.
At least one could live like a gentleman.
Gentleman, I'm sick to death of the word.
My dear girl, if you can't discuss these things quietly, we...
You must be mad to spend £10 we haven't got on something we don't need. Well, it must all go back, every bit of it.
Just like a woman. Don't you realize this is the debt of honor?
I suppose paying the rent doesn't come under the heading of honor.
Don't start that again. I will not be bullied in my own house.
Your own house. There's nothing of ours here except a few books and those ridiculous old photographs.
Ridiculous old photographs? The regiment? Really, Elizabeth, sometimes I can't understand you. I'm damned if I can.
Oh, don't be silly, darling. Come and have your lunch.
I don't want any lunch, thanks. I'm going to Long Barrow. Tommy! Come on, Tommy! A Windover.
Oh, yes. Lovely lines, like a Spitfire.
That's the life he's free. Free as air. No cages for him. That's the only thing that matters, freedom.
But, Daddy, can you ever be free? Really free?
Why not?
Well, I don't call that hawk free. Because he doesn't know he's free. He scarcely knows he's there. He doesn't have to think.
What's wrong with that? I used to have to think. You don't remember what it was like before the thinking people mucked up everything. No bother, nothing to worry about.
That's all very well for you, Daddy. You always had Mummy to do your thinking for you. We women have to accept responsibilities and make the best of things. Men are always so romantic. Everything has to be perfect or nothing. I'd rather be a woman than be a hawk, even if it is free.
You're a funny girl. But don't you get trapped. Keep out of the cage like him. What was that the fellow wrote in the last war? Everyone suddenly burst out singing, and I was filled with such delight as prisoned birds must find in freedom, winging wildly across the white orchards and dark green fields, on and out of sight. That's the spirit.
I know, Daddy, but I've got some work to do. I'll see you later.
As prisoned birds must find in freedom, on and out of sight.
I always think animals know, don't you?
Know what, dear?
The rhythm of the universe.
I should imagine they know about two things, and one of them is lettuce.
What sort of a woman should you say Mrs. Roosevelt actually is?
An extremely busy one.
How darling Vicky would have enjoyed all this if she'd been here, wouldn't she? She did so love parties.
She's got quite enough on her hands with her husband like Nigel.
Dear child, I haven't seen her since her marriage. Is everything going well?
As well as it can in a bungalow in wartime in Aldershot.
Oh, my dear. Sounds idyllic, so romantic.
Vicky!
Father!
But you're in Aldershot.
Angel.
Oh, precious, how lovely to see you.
I've just come down for the day. I went home and found the whole place smelling of iodine. The most forbidding female in uniform told me you were here.
We've turned the library wing into an emergency hospital, and I'm staying in the gardener's cottage. It's such fun.
Darling, I can't tell you how glad I am to see you. I've got the most terribly important problem I simply must discuss.
Lovely, darling. Now, I am so glad you've come. Now you can be really useful.
What is going on?
It's a secret. Here, take this. It goes in there. Now, how are you both? Is Nigel well?
Very well, darling, but I'm most terribly worried and simply must talk to you.
How nice. You see, darling, we're starting the whole thing from the beginning. Here's Agatha. We begin with her. And then we go on to the pulse here, stage 1, and so on until you get the gloves and the boots and this sort of thing. Isn't it fascinating? It's a pity we can't show her over the rabbit farm. She'd have been so interested.
Who would?
Never mind.
Darling, you must listen a minute. I've got the most terrible problem. I'm being haunted by the government.
If it's income tax.
But it isn't income tax, it's me. Mother, darling, do stand still a minute and talk to me. I've got to have a baby or go into a factory. What am I to do?
Oil down! I'm pulling up!
Okay, you're the driver.
Good luck, Mr. Tyndall.
Yes, please, Polly.
Any more trouble with the filter?
Not so far. You did a fine job, Susan. Come on down and stretch your legs, Margaret.
I daren't. I'd never be able to get on again.
Come on down.
Oh, I'm stiff. How are we doing?
We ought to get over to the 10-acre before dinner.
If we're lucky. Ooh.
Look here, you better take a rest. Run along home and get some sleep.
No, I'm all right.
Oh, you're up most of the night with the carving.
Oh, that's nothing. It was thrilling.
Thrilling. I'd like to hear one of the men call it that. You know, you've done something to this farm, Margaret.
Demoralized it?
Rejuvenated it. And me. Made everything seem new and exciting. Just like my first spring here. Keep it like that, won't you?
I hope so.
Look over there. As far as you can see, you'll be able to stand on this spot and say, all this belongs to me. Long Barrow, Badger's Hill, Couples Hanger, Little Oak.
Broxwood, that's all I want.
You're a bad picker. This is the worst land of all.
No, it isn't. It's lovely. The river runs through it, and in summer there are blue dragonflies.
Dragonflies? What use are they? You can't send them to market.
Well, you can look at them.
Daft idea. Margaret, when can we tell people about us? I don't want to wait. I'd like to go and see the parson this afternoon.
Oh, please, Bob, you promised to wait.
But why? I want everybody to know, don't you?
Not everybody, not yet.
What's holding you back? You do want to marry me, don't you?
Oh, yes, of course I do, but only a few more days can't hurt, and then we'll tell them.
We're through now, Mr. Tyndall.
Thanks, Susan.
Young lady, you're going home.
Do you mean it?
Polly, come here and take over. Margaret's off for the day. She'll be twice the man tomorrow.
I knew there'd be a catch in it.
It's not broken.
I told you to hurry, Ellen, but there's no need to be careless.
Are you going to take all of this down to the hall?
Yes, of course.
There was an article in Picture Post last week about Mrs. Roosevelt and the Queen. She was in Buckingham
Don't chatter, Ellen. I shall want 6 more of those, quart bottles, not pints.
Yes, Miss Jane.
I'll write out the wages check this afternoon. There'll be no time tomorrow with all this to do in the village.
I do hope you get the credit for all you've done.
Don't be foolish, Ellen. Margaret, where are you off to?
Oh, good morning, Miss Tyndall.
Who gave you time off?
Mr. Tyndall.
Did any of the other girls get leave?
Not that I know of.
I don't like favoritism.
Favoritism? Oh, Miss Tyndall, that's not fair. I was up most of the night with the carving.
By whose orders? That's not your job.
Mr. Tyndall asked me to help.
My brother. I see. Currying favor.
How dare you say such a thing?
I shall say exactly what I please. And you can wipe that virtuous expression from your face. You come here with your London ways and you think you can behave as you like. You can't pull the wool over my eyes. I know what they're thinking in the village. It would be a fun thing for you to be mistress of Long Barrow, wouldn't it? Have Margaret Ellis's timesheet ready for me when I get back. Everything in, Ted?
Yes, Miss Jane. You'll take a bit of holding. He's a bit fresh this morning.
Like some other people around here.
Yes, you're right there, Miss Jane. Not like old times with all these flibbity gibbets about.
That'll do, Ted. Right you are. Come on, boy.
Janie? Going down into the village?
Robert, I'm off.
Yes, she was up most of the night giving us a hand.
So she told me, but that's not her job.
No, but the kid's frightfully keen.
You'd no business to give her leave. It's bad for the other girls.
What on earth are you talking about is perfectly in order?
Well, I say it's not. The discipline of the place will go all to pieces. Favoritism's fatal.
Look here, Jenny, you're completely on the wrong tack.
It's no good arguing, Robert. We can't have this sort of thing. The girl will have to go. Come on, boy.
Now, look here, Jane.
Got some eggs here. Some cabbages and things in the back. Milk and butter are coming down later.
Mrs. Mumford said she's in 2 minds whether to open the pub or not tonight.
What? Not opening the pub?
She says they're all too busy.
Oh, she can't do that. It's not legal.
No, what about her license?
Ah, yeah.
Denley welcomes Mrs. Roosevelt.
Splendid, Miss Tracy. But for goodness sake, see that it's safely covered up until tomorrow. We don't want everybody to know who's coming.
What about covering it up with this, Mrs. Ellis? It's rather striking, isn't it?
Yes, but I'm afraid it's hardly appropriate. It might be a gesture to put it down as a carpet.
And who's getting these handsome creatures? Oh, they're Morton all over your ball, Bridget. Here I am, passing the buck.
Oh, is it?
Lady Moxall, Miss Tomlinson. Oh, he's answered me in my own language. Well, it's proud I am to be taking you in myself. Come on, Jen, Miss Darling. You're a countryman of mine.
Well, if we can keep it up at this rate, we shan't be doing so badly.
I told them you said they were to go on stall number 3, Mrs. Ellis. They're putting them all on stall number 2.
Never mind, Miss Davenport. We can change them around.
Oh, well, of course, if people won't be told.
Hello, Mummy.
Meg, how lovely to see you.
I've got the day off.
Oh, that's fine. We need all the help we can get.
Mummy, I've got something terribly important to talk to you about. Can't we go somewhere a bit quieter?
Why, yes. Let's go into the kitchen, hmm?
For a day or so.
We're going to the dance tonight. Any chance of a lift?
Sorry, girls, I'm busy. Give us a yard, will you? I'm in a hurry. Thank you.
Okay, Cap. Commonly called the brush-off man. We've had it.
Take a good look, Sam.
At what, Mr. Jeffrey?
At the world's prize dope. Was he satisfied in loving him where he found him and leaving him where he loved him? Oh, no, not he. He had to go and fall, the dizzy jerk. 3 days of his leave he spent waiting for a girl who never showed up. Working on the farm, they told him, and then what happened? Mrs. Mumford says Geoffrey Winthrop will fix up the loudspeakers.
Aye, that's right, Mr. Jeffrey. That's what she said.
And there's a bit of bait she adds. Tell him Margaret Ellis is at the hall.
Aye.
That's right, Mr. Jeffrey. That's what she said. We know.
Don't you think perhaps you're a little overtired, darling?
Being tired's got nothing to do with it. You can't imagine what that woman was like.
She isn't a very tactful person. She probably didn't mean all she said.
Mother, it wasn't what she said. It was what she inferred, the whole atmosphere. I couldn't possibly live in the same house as that woman.
But, darling, you're marrying Bob, not his sister. When you're married, you'll have to settle down by herself.
That's all very well to say, Mother, but it isn't as easy as all that.
Wouldn't it be a good idea to have a chat with Bob about it?
Oh, he wouldn't understand. Why can't life be simpler?
Darling, when your daddy and I were married, all sorts of difficulties came along. Things weren't easy after the last war. We were made to realize that life wasn't simple, as you call it. That's about you and Bob Tyndall. Security sounds dull, I know, but it does give you freedom.
I don't want that sort of freedom.
Meg, darling, I don't want you to do anything that your heart isn't in. You know that, don't you?
Yes, Mummy, I know.
Let's fight! Kill it! Kill it! Smash everything! That's what you all want, isn't it? I'm sorry, but these cupboards are full of young birds.
Damn your young birds!
Don't you like partridges?
What the devil has that got to do with it?
You can't have it both ways. I'm only doing my job.
What can't? You destroy something marvelously beautiful and then preach a sermon about it.
He's beautiful, all right. So are a lot of things that had to be destroyed. Foxes, for instance.
I know. It's the wild things you ought to smash. The little independent bits that don't fit into your tight little nightmare world. You and your lot run the whole show now, and a fine mess you've made of it. Like to finish you off the firing squad.
Don't you like to eat? I suppose you never thought of that.
Sorry. I'm feeling quite myself today. I'm a bit on edge.
Forget it. I know how you feel.
Oh, stop, Mr. Jeffrey. I feel like enjoying myself.
You're not the only one. Come on, Sam, look lively. Help me get this junk out of here. I want to get cracking and get some fun out of the rest of my leave.
What about Miss
Margaret? Oh, no, London. That'll find me.
I think I know what's the matter with you. Let's go over to the Swan and have a quick one.
I've had it, and besides, they're closed.
We could slink in by the back door. Beryl likes you.
You're telling me?
You know, you're browned up, that's what you are. Fair browned up.
Me? That'll be the day when I let her go. Hey, Margaret! Here, wait a minute.
Hello, Jeffrey.
Hello, Jeffrey. That's a bit cold, isn't it? What's the idea?
I'm doing a job for Mrs. Mumford.
Well, so am I, but nothing's all that important.
Well, I promised Mrs. Mumford that
You promised to come and have dinner with me last night at 7:30. I waited till 9:30. You're pretty generous with your promises.
I was busy. I couldn't help it.
All right, if you couldn't help it, you couldn't help it. I say, look, I've got 3 more days of my leave left. How about going up to town, doing a dance, a dinner, and a show?
No, Jeffrey.
Oh, come on, Margaret. What about tonight? Anything you say.
It's the trouble. I don't know what to say.
There's something going on around here that I don't get. Have I said anything or done anything?
Oh, no, Jeffrey. It isn't you.
Oh, what?
Jeffrey! Jeffrey, love, you have been quick. I think I know why.
I bet you do.
I was just as daft when I was her age. Margaret, do hurry up, love. He'll still be here when you get back. You don't need to have to worry about that.
Okay, Mrs. Mumford, I'm off.
But you can't go now.
Go on. It's all in a good cause. She'll be back in half an hour.
Yes, I'll be well on my way to town by then.
Yes, I'll push. What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with her?
Don't be silly. She's tired. They've been overworking her. That's all that's wrong with the girl.
I hope you're right.
Of course I'm right. Sam, when you've finished helping Mr. Winthrop with those things, pop over to the Swan and tell Beryl I shan't be back for a while and pop back again. The windows need cleaning.
Yes, ma'am.
2 loudspeakers, Jane.
What's going on here with all you wild women?
Ask no questions, you'll be told no lies.
No tell, no work.
Jeffrey, you wouldn't let me down.
Could I refuse you anything, you beautiful creature?
You old humbug, you. I'll see you inside.
My favorite woman.
There you are, Mr. Jeffrey. Next stop, London.
Well, who's going to London?
You aren't, as though we didn't know. We know.
We certainly do.
Yeah, I nearly put my foot in it outside. Let me help you. The lovebirds. I thought they were billing and cooing. They're biting each other's heads off. Isn't it time Margaret was announcing her engagement?
Oh, I didn't know anybody else knew.
What, Jeffrey Winthrop and your Margaret? Known about it for ages.
Jeffrey Winthrop? Oh, no, Nora. Good gracious, no. That's all over, thank goodness. He's a wild boy. Wilder than ever since he went into the army. He'll never be any good to her.
Well, I like Jeffrey. You must speak as you find.
Well, I like him, too. But I want to see Margaret properly settled. Bob Tyndall's so reliable. He'll make her a good husband.
Is she engaged to Bob Tyndall?
Oh, yes, but don't say anything about it. She doesn't want it to be known yet a while.
Well, you do surprise me. I always thought it was Jeffrey with Margaret.
No.
Well, fancy that. Bob Tyndall, of all people.
Well, Nora Mumford is just self as a bold woman to be flirting with Jeffrey Winthrop. There's the lad with the roving eye. Up in the spinney with your barmaid all hours of the night.
Well, anybody can go for a walk in the spinney.
A boy that's been at Oxford and a barmaid. They may walk to the spinney, but you can't prove they keep on walking.
You can't prove anything else either. I was a barmaid once, and what's more, I was a barmaid in Oxford. And I married an undergraduate. We took the Anglers near Tring, and he gave tone to the place. And it all panned out lovely.
Sure, it must have been gorgeous, but that was a different matter entirely.
We were there 15 years till he died. He never did a hand's turn. I wouldn't let him. He had a lovely life. And I had a lovely life, too. Just listening to him talk to the customers. So don't come to me with any insinuations about Beryl and spinneys.
I didn't say anything in words.
Well, what did you say it in, then?
Oh, it's you.
Where?
I told you I was kept late working.
And who kept you?
Mr. Tyndall.
Well, who the hell does he think he is?
Just happens to be my employer.
Well, why don't you tell him to go to blazes?
I don't know that I want to.
That seems to be the trouble.
Well, you're scarcely the one to talk. What about that girl at the Swan? Beryl, whatever her name is.
Beryl is her name.
The soldier's friend.
Yes, too bad of her to prefer impoverished soldiers to wealthy civilians. Very foolish.
That's a particularly cheap remark.
Almost as cheap as yours. What were you doing last night?
I was helping with the carving, if you must know.
Oh, very instructive. Healthy work for a nice girl. I shall be going tomorrow.
Really?
Yes, to finish my leave in London.
How very interesting.
To leave the field clear for Farmer Giles.
Clear already.
help you?
No, thank you. I'm quite capable of doing it myself.
Good evening, Annette. Good evening, Captain. Stay there, Tommy.
2 and 10. They're very hot with mathematics. Help yourself.
Good evening, Beryl. Large whiskey, please. Good evening.
Good evening. Say, that's a swell pair of glasses you got there.
These? Yes, they're Zeiss. German, you know. Got them from a Hun in the war. The last war, that is.
Oh, mind if I have a look?
By all means.
Thanks.
Have a drink, will you?
Well, thanks. I just ordered one. Certainly are a swell pair of glasses.
Same again, please, Beryl.
2 and 10, Captain. That'd be 5 and 8, please.
5 and 8. Oh, that's funny. I don't seem to have any change of me. Put it on the slate.
I'm sorry, sir. Mrs. Mumford said I wasn't to give any credit.
No credit? Ridiculous. Mrs. Mumford knows me.
Yes, sir.
Well, come along then.
Sorry, Captain.
Why, can I have the privilege, sir?
Well, that's uncommonly civil of you. I left my note case behind. Can't think how I was so careless.
Oh, that's an honor, sir. Large scotch, was it?
Well, thanks very much.
2 large scotches, please.
Yes, I just changed my suit. Funny how forgetful one can be.
Sure, I know how it is.
Well, what part of America are you from?
Pittsburgh.
Enjoying it over here?
Yeah, mighty nice war. Here today, there tomorrow. Philippines one day, Iceland the next. Well, here's how, Captain.
Good luck.
It's better than raising puppies, though. I like to move around, but I sure like to get home and see the folks again and get down to some real man-sized work.
You don't like the army, then?
Do you?
Oh, of course, the last war was different.
You're not commissioned now, eh, sir?
No, groggy heart.
Oh, it's too bad. But tell me, how do you mean the last war was different?
Well, we thought we knew what we were fighting for.
How come?
Oh, civilization, all that sort of thing. You don't agree?
Not exactly. I think we know what this one's about, all right. Last one didn't settle anything after all. This one looks as though it's going to.
There's no sense of values anymore. Nothing's the same since the last war.
Isn't that rather a good thing? Past has got to go sometime and all the trimmings. Just like a piece of machinery that's conked out.
Well, it's a point of view.
It's about the only one that'll work. Else we shall find ourselves in another war and then another. On and on. Like a lot of crazy gangsters.
Doesn't your uniform mean anything to you?
Yes, it means a whole lot of things to me. It means Pearl Harbor, friends lost on the beach at Guadalcanal. Yeah, I'm proud to wear it. But I sure will be glad to get out of it.
I see.
Oh, not till the job's done. That's what we're over here for. Help clean up the mess. Whether it's British or American, the uniform just means we're on the job. Like a boiler suit to an engineer.
Sounds rather strange to an Englishman.
Well, I don't know, Captain. Most of your boys that I've spoken to seem to feel the same way about it as I do. Just want to finish the job and get along home. There's a hell of a lot to do when the fighting's finished. Just about one of the biggest jobs in history. We gotta think. There'll be no time to waste waving flags and passing out bits of paper with pretty speeches on them. I seem to have made quite a speech myself. Sorry. Here's how.
I'm going to help you. Well, it's a point of view, as I said. We'll have to continue this. Let's run up to my house and get my note case. You'll be here when I get back, won't you?
Sure, I'm here all evening.
Excellent. I'll be back within the hour.
It's a date.
It's a date.
He seems a nice sort of guy.
Oh, he's all right. A bit dotty. Never lets you forget the captain.
Maybe that's all he's got.
You got to have more than that.
Lady, are you critical?
Good evening, Miss Lacey.
Hello, Daddy. What are you doing here?
Hello, Meg. Looking for your mother.
You're making a big mistake. This place is murder. You'll be lucky to get out alive.
Hello, Captain Ellis. Are you looking for your wife?
Well, as a matter of fact, I was.
She's somewhere around. We're up to our necks in work.
Work? Didn't think you did anything else here but gossip.
You must look at our production sheets.
Heaven forbid. Look at them. Look at the importance in their faces. The whole world would collapse if they didn't scuttle about like ants. Go to the ant, thou sluggard.
You are a bad lad, Captain.
Hello, John.
Hello, Liz. Congratulations. Remarkable effort. Really remarkable. Does you all credit.
I think we're getting on nicely. Oh, John, I'm afraid there's only cold lamb for supper, but you can get yourself a salad, can't you?
But don't bother about me. I'm happy with the bread and cheese. What about you?
Well, I think we're going to be late here, but I'll just get myself a snack when I get in.
I don't keep you here all night. I know these people. You push about all over the place, you give them half a chance.
Oh, hush, John.
Listen now, girl. You don't happen to have 10 bob on you, do you?
I think I have a little silver in my bag. Would 5 shillings be enough?
Oh, whatever you can spare. I ran into a most interesting American just now up at the Swan. I feel I ought to return his hospitality.
I'll see what I've got.
Oh, how do you do, Lady Maud?
Oh, Captain, I never expected to see you here. Have you come to give us a hand?
A mere male like me?
Oh, men have their uses.
Oh, I'd be far too frightened. Hello, Geoffrey. What are you doing here?
I was ambushed by Mrs. Mumford.
Well, you're in enemy camp. You'll have to surrender, you know. I say, Jeff, I left all my change in another suit. You don't happen to have 10 bob, do you?
Oh, yes, I think so.
I'll give it you back when I've been home. You know how it is.
Of course. There's no hurry.
Thanks. The leave's nearly up, isn't it?
3 more days.
We haven't seen much of you this time.
No.
Have to come and have dinner with us one evening. Hello, my dear. I was just telling this young fellow he must come and have dinner with us one evening. Kill the fatted spam, eh?
Oh, yes, that would be very nice. Oh, John, I've got that key you wanted.
Oh, yes. The stupid bit mislaid. Well, I must be going now. So long, Jeff.
Goodbye, sir.
Yes, I think you're right, this American might be a very useful contact. Well, okay.
What did my father borrow off you?
What are you talking about? Nothing.
How much?
My dear girl.
I said how much. I don't want my family to be under any obligation to you.
Now, listen, Margaret, he left his change in another suit, and
Come on, Geoffrey, how much?
All right, since you insist, it was 10 shillings, but I don't see why...
There you are, thank you.
Sam, what's the beer like over at the Swan?
Just right, Mr. Geoffrey.
Well, take this and make a night of it.
Oh, I couldn't. I really
Oh,
couldn't.
go on, man, take it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No, Mrs. Walsh, where's the eggless cake you made?
In the kitchen. It's gorgeous. I put 1 egg in it to make it look better.
An egg? Then you can't call it an eggless cake.
Oh, it's an eggless cake recipe, all right. But I added 1 egg for a special occasion like this.
But the idea was to demonstrate to Mrs. Roosevelt a good cake entirely devoid of eggs.
The idea was to make an eggless cake. Well, I made it. And I added 1 egg for the sake of appearance.
Then the cake becomes a deliberate deception.
I beg your pardon?
A fake.
I beg your pardon, Miss Tyndall.
An eggless cake with an egg in it is a lie.
Well, of all the mean, puritanical, petty female remarks...
I like the truth. I don't like cheating.
Cheating? Is it me cheating? I've been sorry for you all day, Miss Tyndall, but I'm not a bit sorry for you now.
Sorry for me?
Aye. And who wouldn't be sorry for you with your brother getting married on you? Oh, it'll be a grand sight to see him marching up to the altar in all his glory with his bride on his arm. And she, like a swan, would be sailing on the winds in the morning, and yourself left out in the cold, with rage and malice boiling in your heart, and you with a roof to your head. And I'll tell you another thing while I'm at it. Margaret Ellis will make a far better mistress of Long Better than you have, bless her lovely, sweet face. And that skinflint brother of yours is a lucky man to win her, for there isn't a lad in the whole county who wouldn't be proud to make her his wife. I said more than I should, maybe, but it was a mortal provocation. And ask your pardon, I will not, for I'll call all the saints in heaven to witness. You've a wicked tongue and a black heart, and you're eaten up with jealousy, pride, and envy. Now.
So you're going to be mistress at the farm?
I never thought of it that way.
Of course not. You haven't plotted and planned for it ever since you arrived here.
Miss Tyndall,
The loving mother and the milksop daughter. A nice pair.
Jane, don't you think you're being a little unwise?
Oh, you're in it, too. You're all in it. You're glad, every one of you. Sentimental fools, thinking of nothing but men. That's all you're good for. That's all you think of.
Jane, don't you think
Leave
you're
me
being a little
alone.
unwise?
I loathe you to hear. I despise you. Women. Look at you, standing around like a lot of silly sheep waiting for the butcher. I know you all hate me. I've always known it. Go on, say it. You hate me and you're glad. You're glad.
Poor Jane Tyndall, I've never seen her in such a state.
Serves her right, in a way.
Hysterical, didn't know what she was saying.
Well, we must get on without her. Now, Mrs. Beale, would you help me with these furs? Mrs. Ellis, you and I can finish tidying up in the kitchen. We'll have to take her in there tomorrow when everything's upside down.
Yes, of course.
Geoffrey,
Well, congratulations.
I'm sorry.
Oh, but you mustn't be sorry. You're being very sensible.
No, I'm sorry you heard about it this way.
Instead of reading about it in the Times, do you mean?
I didn't want anybody to know about it yet. Until after your leave was over.
That was thoughtful of you.
Try and understand, Geoffrey.
Oh, I understand, all right. I hope you'll be very happy.
Geoffrey! Geoffrey Winthrop!
Hello?
Somebody wants to see you.
Captain Winthrop, sir?
Yes?
Message for you, sir.
Thank you, Corporal. That's all, thank you, Corporal. Well, that's that. I hope everything turns out all right for you. Goodbye.
Geoffrey,
Yes?
take care of yourself.
You bet I will.
See the position. Jenny had a machine gun placed in here, enfilading the street. Our battalion headquarters in the cellar under this stairway. Remind me to tell about that story.
Hot stuff, eh?
No, let's stick to the point. Well, I went out one night with my sergeant major, amazing fellow, bald as a coot, damn fine soldier. We sneaked up behind their positions. We had a Mills bomb left, so we lobbed them a couple of bullet beef tunes. No need to winkle them out with a bayonet. They came popping out like bugs from a rug. Camera, camera!
Up the flag, gunners. Were you a regular, sir?
Oh, no, it's the territory.
I thought you said you were a regular, sir.
Did I? No, good Lord, no, no.
Say, there must have been quite a war, eh, Captain?
Yes, those are the days. Never enjoyed myself so much in my life. Don't you feel that?
Oh, well, it's a wee bit difficult to feel like that about this war, sir.
Say, what about another drink? My turn.
No, no, certainly not. This is my round. I've been drinking you fellows all night. Now, what is it? Whiskey? Whiskey?
I'll take the ball of it, Scott.
Four whiskies and a pint. Come on, Beryl.
One of the old school. Oh, he's all right, the captain.
4 large whiskies and a pint of ale, please, Beryl.
Yes.
You can hear him top himself.
What the hell? He's a good scout.
What about yourself?
Oh, thank you, Captain.
Good evening, Mrs. Mumford.
Good evening, Captain.
Everything finished out cold?
I wish it were. We are having a day of it and no
We
mistake.
must work and men must weep, eh? Oh, good evening, sir. What are you drinking?
Oh, thank you, sir. Not a mile.
A pint of mild for sir, please. Now, how much is all that?
14 and 10, Beryl.
There you are.
Thank you, Captain. Can you manage?
Yeah, simple. Here we are, boys.
Beryl, don't serve any more doubles. We shan't have anything left for the weekend.
Yes.
And Beryl, no credit.
Oh, but the Captain paid cash.
Exceptions don't make the rule. Nothing's to go on the slate. Do you understand?
Yes, Mrs. Mumford.
I'll help you with the glasses when I get back from the hall. You can leave the floor until the morning.
I got it in your hand. Everything tickety-boo? All set?
Good land, what's going on here?
Emergency call out Bremerton way.
It could only happen to us. Tonight of all nights.
Right. Righto. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. See you later.
Yes, goodbye. Bye. Big troop movement on. Margaret volunteered to go instead of Bridget.
That's something to be thankful for, anyway.
Oh, where were we? Oh, in all that rush and scramble, I'd quite forgotten about tomorrow.
I feel just as if I've stopped like a watch.
Now there's the kitchen to do all over again.
Yes, just when we'd cleaned up, too.
Come on, let's have a cup of tea and then get down.
Oh, goodness. I've just remembered something.
What?
The Rileys. Joan's mother's been up all evening trying to make her a dress for tomorrow, and it hasn't turned out right. That poor kid's got nothing to wear. What on earth are we going to do about it?
We can't do anything about it. Look at the time.
The child was chosen by the others. We must try and do something. Can't we make her one?
Don't be silly. By tomorrow, it's no good making a tragedy of it. We've just got to find another child with a decent dress. One had this one remembering all her life that she didn't present a bouquet to Mrs. Roosevelt because she hadn't a dress.
It isn't such a problem as all that. I think I can run something up.
It would take hours.
Oh, never mind. We must have a dress, mustn't we, Joan? Come along, we'll get your measurements.
It's ever so kind of you, Mrs. Ellis.
I can make it out of a party frock of Margaret's that she's grown out of. It's pink muslin with frills. How would you like that?
Fellas, you're a swell guy. Yes, sir, a swell guy.
Here, here.
We don't want to leave you.
We don't want to leave you, but we feel we ought to go.
No, gentlemen, we must repeat the dose. Haven't enjoyed myself so much for years.
Please, no, sir, over plenty. Let's call it a day.
Oh, but I insist. Now, what are you drinking? Whiskey? And same for you, Captain?
No, Captain, we'll be seeing you. We've had a swell time.
Yes, Captain, we've had enough.
Plenty.
Gentlemen, you're having a drink. Hands on me. Beryl! Oh, Beryl! I'm awfully sorry. 5 large whiskies and a glass of port for yourself, please.
Pardon me.
Topping fellows, those, the real stuff. Better than some of the riff-raff you see about these days.
That'll come to 15 and 6, please, sir.
Yes, I'll pay you tomorrow.
Yes, I'm ever so sorry, sir, but Mrs. Mumford said no credit.
No credit, but that's ridiculous. Mrs. Mumford knows me.
Yes, sir.
Well, come along then.
I'm sorry, sir.
Die, play, fade. Beryl, what about those drinks?
There's no credit, Captain.
I don't know why I take the trouble to come to a dirty 2x4 bar like this.
Oh, well, if you don't like it, you can do the other thing.
You realize I could have you discharged for impertinence?
Oh, skip it. I only told you the clock had stopped. No tick, see?
And I'm telling you that I shall report you to Mrs. Mumford.
Now, please, I've got my work to do.
Listen to me. I'm talking. Let me have those drinks.
You heard what I said.
Then I shall speak to Mrs. Mumford.
There, now, sir, don't you be putting yourself about for us. We're for home anyway. Good night, sir. It's been grand.
Jacques, I assure you I can cope with the situation perfectly. I shall be extremely hurt if you won't have this drink with me.
All right.
And if you want to know, Mrs. Mumford particularly said you wasn't to have any credit. Is that good enough for you?
Beryl, how about another one, eh?
No, this one's on me.
Ah, come on, let me.
Now, don't be silly. Same, please, Beryl.
Make it doubles, Beryl, that'll teach you.
You can if you like, really.
Ah, don't be soft.
Ta, Beryl. Oh, I've now had a time this week. My sister's boyfriend's home on leave, brought his pal. Laugh? I never laughed so much in all my life.
What happened?
He's the dark type, Billy. You know. I said, they all go on like that in the army. And what do you think he said?
No, what?
He said the coach works the same, but the chassis is different.
Very funny.
Oh, what's the matter with you? Jealous?
It's a bit of a twerp to me.
Oh, he does he? Well, he isn't, see?
I'm glad to hear it.
Oh, come off it, Johnny. Go to the dance Saturday.
I may do.
I'm going.
I should probably be there.
Of course you will, and you're taking me.
Oh, I am I?
Yes, you are, and you're going to like it.
Gotcha. Thought you'd get away with it, didn't you?
What do you mean?
Captain, eh?
Take your filthy hands off me! That's proof! You got witnesses?
That's right, Ted.
You had a tinselly note in your bag, didn't you, miss?
Eh? Well, I don't know, did I?
You must have done. You just changed a pound. What's his game?
Johnny!
What's the matter, Captain?
Here, you're not going to charge him, are you? We certainly are. You're quite willing, aren't you, miss?
Of course she is.
Oh, I don't want any fuss, Johnny.
Don't be silly. It's your money.
Beryl, phone the police.
It's 14.5 inches. There we are. Now there's nothing left to do but make it.
What do you say to Mrs. Ellis, Joan?
Thank you.
Oh, don't bother, Mrs. Ellis, I'll go.
Thank you.
Hello? Yes, this is the village hall. Yes? Yes? What's that you say? No. Where is he now? Oh, of course. I'll tell her immediately.
But isn't another emergency call?
No, just a message for Mrs. Mumford.
Thank goodness. Now, Joan, you must get your beauty sleep. The dress will be ready first thing in the morning, and I'll bring it over after.
How to thank you, Mrs. Ellis?
Why, it's nothing. It's high time you were in bed, young lady.
Kathleen Ellis arrested? What for? Something about a 10-shilling note. Beryl telephoned the police before she rang us. They arrested him in the Swan. Where is he now? Taking him to the police station, I think. Beryl was very excited on the phone. I couldn't quite follow, but there seems to have been a terrible rumpus.
This would happen as soon as my back was turned.
What a terrible thing. Poor Elizabeth, what will she do? Shouldn't one of us break the news to her?
Oh, she'll learn it soon enough if I know anything about this village.
and don't overdo the sugar. What's having, Bill?
Yeah, a cup of tea.
Thank you. 2 cups of jar and 2 chunks of cake. Thank you.
Careful with the cups, please, boys. We can't replace them.
All right, lovey, all right.
2 stamps, miss, please, and will you post them for me?
Certainly, all tickety-boo. Anybody else want more stamps? How's the tray going, Margaret?
Oh, it's almost ready. I'll be out with it in a jiffy.
Be as quick as you can, dear. I'm always so sorry for those poor boys in the trucks.
Oh, don't wet tea.
Have you any razor blades or matches?
Now, don't be silly. Now, who's the next one?
Come on, let's get Mike.
Now you'll get back in the queue.
Excuse me, please.
Look who's here, George.
Nice cup of tea.
You keep your mind on the tea, Nobby.
Okay, Tom.
Any sugar in this, dear?
Of course there is. You put it in with her own lily white hands, didn't you?
I certainly did.
There you are. Sweet from the sweet.
Take this, Corporal.
Yes, sir.
Sweets from the sweet, eh, Nobby?
No wonder they made him a captain.
This saves me a stamp. There are a whole lot of things I want to know about you and about me. About what's been going on during the past 3 months. On my last leave, we were in love. Everything was marvelous. Plans. Tell me, Meg, what's gone wrong?
Oh, I don't know. It's no good hanging on to the past.
But don't you see that's exactly what you are doing? You're tying yourself up to a man old enough to be your father.
Oh, I like him.
I see. When are you going to be married?
Soon. Nothing to wait for.
Why should there be? He's waited 50 years.
45.
All right. 45 years of building up a bank balance. What kind of a man is that?
He has his farm. He loves it.
It's about the only thing he does love. Put him against a background of what's going on today and where is he? What's he read? What's he think about? What are his opinions? What are his politics?
Oh, I don't know and I don't care.
But you should care. You're going to spend the rest of your life with him.
I know what I'm doing.
So do I. You're marrying him because you're looking for the security you've never had.
And what's wrong with that? You think you know everything, don't you? Well, as I'm living with my parents, I've sort of developed second sight. I've had to see through the camouflage that's been put there for my benefit. Do you think I don't see through poor Dad's swaggering and drinking and clinging for 25 years to a last war rank?
Plenty of men did that. The world was full of them.
I don't know about that, but I know about him. He stuck to it because it was the only identity he'd got. It became more and more phony. It led him into phony jobs amongst phony people.
Listen, Margaret.
No, you listen to me. You've been telling me, now I'm telling you. I've seen insecurity. I know what life is for the dispossessed. It destroys them. If they were to admit it, it makes mortal enemies out of people who once loved each other.
Margaret, that's terribly bitter.
I am bitter. I'm bitter about the kind of life that Mother's had. She pretends it's all been fine. She tries to hide it from me. She's afraid of hurting me by telling me, and I can't let her see that I know it. It's her last illusion that I know nothing about it.
Captain Winthrop, sir. It's time we were moving off.
All right, Sergeant. Get moving.
Yes, sir.
Listen, Margaret. Time's short and I've got to leave. Take a wider view of this. You're all twisted up. You're mixing up your future with their past. You're building up your life on what's happened to them.
I want to know what sort of a life I'm going to have. I want to be certain of the future, that's all.
You don't want much, do you? A door opens and the future comes in. Is that it?
Oh, shut up.
I won't shut up. I love you. I've always loved you. We could be everything to each other. Husband, wife, friends, lovers. I've known that ever since I met you. If you marry this man, I shall always think of you as my wife, not his. Test yourself, Margaret. How much do you love him? Would you hold his head if he was sick? Would you put him to bed if he got drunk? If at this moment he was a long way away, say, Burma or New Guinea, anywhere, would that place become the focal point of your mind? Would you feel your heart straining to it? Would you?
Oh, Geoffrey.
Come on, lads. Get a move on.
I'll be back.
I'll be here.
2 steps down, sir.
What's going to happen, Bob?
Oh, the case will come up before the magistrates at their next sitting. It's the first offence, of course.
First offence, yes. What'll they do to me?
Oh, they'll probably bind you over to keep the peace. Now, don't you worry too much about it, sir. Good night.
Good night. Hello, Liz.
Hello, John.
You heard?
Yes, I heard.
There's a hard, bright light in that place. My eyes are still dazed from it. What are you doing?
I'm making a dress for Joan Riley. She's presenting the bouquet tomorrow.
Just like you.
Would you like some tea?
No, thanks. Liz, I'm awfully sorry.
John, did you really do it?
I can't tell. I don't honestly know. The note is hanging out of the girl's bag, and I just put out my hand to put it back safely.
Did you tell the constable that?
Yes. No. I don't know. This man started a row. Everything was in a sort of haze. The whole thing's ridiculous, of course. I told the fellow exactly what I thought about him.
Does it mean...
Yes. I was looking at some of my pals to see if they know the magistrate. I go up to London tomorrow to the club.
John, you're talking to me. You're alone. You know you haven't been near the club for at least 12 years. Why pretend?
I know lots of fellows that helped me out of this jam. It's only 10 bob, for heaven's sake. Couldn't have happened except in this stinking village. Liz, what do you say we start again? I'll put an advertisement in the Times. Ex-officer, used to authority, able to handle men. It's true, too, isn't it? Isn't it?
I just don't know what to say.
You don't believe in me anymore, do you? You're like all the rest of them. I'll have to stand up there on the dock and be pilloried, sneered at, and humiliated. Goose flesh all over me. My toes curled up with shame, and I led men in the last war. Shells whistled over us, and I never ducked my head, just to show 'em.
Don't, John, don't.
I'm not a fool, you know.
I know, dear, I know.
I have my lucid moments.
John.
And they're not always pretty. I was never frightened in war, but I was frightened in peace. Petrified at the thought of a wife being dependent on me. And then a child. And I loved you both. And that's something a woman will never understand. The fear that squeezes the man's heart in the night and turns his mind into an adding machine. And he can't share it. He's the lover, the protector, the strong man. Oh, that's what he wants to be. He's got to give out confidence. In my case, no fresh supplies came in.
You mustn't feel like that. I always understood. Always.
I became almost sadistic about it. The skeleton in the cupboard and herself. So I took myself out and rattled myself in front of the noses of the safe and the smug. I was the goose walking over their graves.
John, I can't bear you to feel like that.
I had to have something to think of. Some kind of game to play.
Dearest, go to bed. Don't think too much. We'll see this through.
You'll hate it, won't you? The gossip. The talk behind our backs. For 10 bob, too. It's a terrible showing up.
If things get bad, we can just pack up and go. Back to London.
What about your garden? All those things that come up in the spring you were talking about yesterday.
The garden, the gossip, showing up. None of those things matter.
Liz. Dear Liz.
Go to bed now, darling. Don't worry anymore.
I think I'll take a turn outside.
You won't be long.
No, just at the long barrel and back. Not tonight, old boy.
John?
Mummy, I've just heard about Daddy. It isn't true, is it?
Yes, darling, it is.
Oh, why must this happen now? I was so happy and... Oh, Mummy, I'm sorry. Where is Daddy?
I don't know, Meg. He said he was just going to Long Barrow. That was ages ago. Meg, I'm afraid. I must go and find him.
No, wait, Mummy. I'll go. Oh, Daddy, you are naughty. We've been waiting for you at home for hours.
Sorry.
Daddy, let's forget it. Come home.
Meg,
We love you, Mummy and I. We know you and we love you.
I'm a failure, Meg. I'm sorry. I ought to have gotten... I've bluffed my way out of things ever since then. Well, this is one of the things I can't bluff my way out of.
Well, don't try.
What?
Face it. Take it. We're with you, Mummy and I.
Face it.
You faced worse. They gave you a medal for it, darling. There won't be any medals this time. Except for me. Because I'll know.
Face it. Do you know, Meg, I hadn't even the courage to...
I know. But you had the courage not to. Sometimes it's braver to live than to die.
Thanks, Meg.
Come on, Daddy, let's go home.
The right way to Broxwood. Broxwood.
Brockwood? Oh, yes. Take the right fork and carry on straight ahead northeast for about a mile. Turn right again across the bridge. You can't go wrong if you take your bearings from the old mill. About 40 degrees.
Thank you very much, sir.
Carry on, Sergeant.
Am I all right? I feel so nervous.
You're too pale, darling. You need a tiny spot of colour here and here. I've got some upstairs.
Oh, no, Meg, there's no time. You ready, John?
No, I'm sorry, Liz, dear. I'll hear all about it from you when you come home.
You'll never get another chance to see your wife receiving the wife of the President of the United States.
We'll have the whole village looking on. Isn't that enough?
I want you to come, John.
I can't. They all know.
Look, John, if we're going to live this down, and we are, this is the time to start.
I can't face them. People are so cruel.
People are kind, John. Don't question it. Don't doubt it. Wait. Wear it.
Liz, for Pete's sake.
Under here. Nobody will see it. Only you'll know it's there.
Now, don't fuss, Mummy. This is the palest pink.
Oh,
it's good for your morale.
My morale's excellent. Do I look...
Painted hussy, darling.
Oh. Let's go.
Roosevelt tenderly greets you, we offer these English flowers to the First Lady of America in token of our friendship for our great ally in the common struggle.